Hi, I'm Julie Goodwin and I'm going to make for you a chicken and leek pie with a potato baked topping. So this is two of my family's favourites merged into one simple midweek dish. The beautiful thing about this is that the pie filling can be used with a pastry top, it can be eaten on its own, but I'm going to do it with this potato baked topping. So the first thing I'm going to do is brown off some chicken. Anything that's going to cook for a little while is better off with thigh than breast because it won't dry out. So about half this chicken, and you're looking for a sizzle when the chicken goes in. If it's not sizzling, it's not hot enough yet. It doesn't have to cook all the way through right now because it's going to cook again in the sauce and again in the oven. So I've got a little bit of golden colour on that. I'm going to take it out. So in this filling I'm going to use leeks. Because they kind of grow up through the soil, they quite often get dirt right down there. So cut it lengthways and give it a really good rinse all the way through. So I'm just going to use the white and the pale green part because once you get up to the dark green part, it's quite fibrous and it doesn't break down as nicely inside the pie filling. Another splash of olive oil, and then I'm going to put in my leeks, my onions and my garlic. And I'm just going to saute that until you really start to get that beautiful sweet smell, and it goes from being this sort of bright white opaque to softening down and being a little bit see-through. That'll take a couple of minutes. So once that's kind of collapsed down, I'm going to add the chicken back in along with any juices that have accumulated in that bowl. So the next thing I'm going to do is sprinkle over a couple of tablespoons of flour, and this will help that sauce to thicken up for your pie. And then I'm just going to add the stock a little bit at a time to start that flour becoming a sauce. Give it a good stir. As you add the stock, the beautiful tasty brown bits on the bottom start to come up and become a part of that sauce. So now I'll just add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, which gives it a beautiful richness, half a teaspoon or so of salt and a quarter of a teaspoon of ground white pepper. And give it a good stir. All right, so that is cooked through, the sauce is thickened up, the flour is cooked. So I can turn that off and just let that sit now while I prepare the top. At this stage, this becomes a meal in its own right. So you could serve that with mashed potato, you could serve it with rice, you could put a pastry top on it, but we're going to turn it into a pie with potato baked topping. So what I've got here are some potatoes that I've just boiled in salted water. This size takes between 15 and 20 minutes. What you want is to be able to put a little knife or a skewer easily through the centre of it, but not so cooked that the skins are starting to split and that it's starting to fall apart. So it's important for this recipe to use a waxy potato, and as a general rule, washed potatoes are waxier and your dirty potatoes are flourier. So these tend to hold their shape a little bit better for being twice cooked. I leave the skins on because I like the texture of it, and that also helps to hold it together. So I'm going to slice those around about 1 centimetre thick. I'm going to lay the sliced potato over the top of my chicken, just overlap them a little bit. So now I'm going to top this with a sour cream and cheese topping. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually stir up the sour cream to make it a bit runnier. I need to be able to spread it. So I'm just going to give that a good old stir. You'll see that start to really loosen up. So once you've got a spreadable consistency, we're going to go in over the top of the pie. On top of that, I'm going to add some grated tasty cheese. I've got about 3/4 of a cup here. As I always say, there's no such thing as too much cheese, so that quantity is more of a suggestion and less of a law. So if you've got a busy week ahead, you can make it to this stage on maybe Sunday, for example. Pop that into the fridge, just a bit of foil over the top, bring it out and put it into the oven on Monday. When it's all cold from the fridge, you need to add a few minutes to the cooking time, but you'll know because it still go golden brown on top and be lovely and bubbly underneath. So now I've just got to pop that into a nice hot oven for about 20 minutes until it's golden brown and bubbling. There it is, it's golden brown, it's bubbly, it's gorgeous. I'm just going to add a few little chopped chives to the top of that for some colour. You could use parsley, you could use whatever you've got really growing in your garden. So for my family, what I would do is take that to the table in its pan and let everybody help themselves. Serve that with some green beans, maybe some broccolini. Yum, that's classic chicken and leek flavour with a beautiful cheesy twist.